Yeah.
I now call to order the City Council meeting of February 9th, 2026. The time is 7 p.m. Tonight's opening prayer will be delivered by Reverend Jackson. Standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Holy God, I give you thanks for being among us tonight. I give you thanks for each of the folks who live in our community and each of the people in this room who care deeply and serve you in this way. I ask that you give them wisdom to care for the whole community and that you bless our time together. I pray all this in your son's holy name. Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Member Pierpont.
Here.
Member Ward. Here. Member Wyrick.
Here.
Member Matheny.
Here.
Member McLeister.
Here.
Member Pratt.
Here.
Member Stalker.
Here.
7 present.
Excellent. First thing on the list is consideration for the January 2026 finance report. Any comments, questions? Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. At this time, we'd like to invite Ms. Legg of the North Canton Public Library to the podium to present their 2025 annual report.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Stroya, members of City Council, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Andrea Legg, and I'm the director at the North Canton Public Library. I want to apologize in advance. I'm getting over a respiratory illness, and so my voice might be going in and out. I'll try to make it as loud as I can, but I can't make any promises, and I apologize for that. So anyway, review the highlights from the North Canton Public Library's 2025 annual report. Each council member should have a copy of that report with you today. And I'd like to share with these numbers in real life and then connect that data to our plans for the library's future. So in 2025, the North Canton Public Library saw record growth in a couple of key areas. New library card registrations reached all-time highs as more community members joined and embraced the library as a resource. We welcomed 3,383 new card holders to our library in 2025, which is over 1,000 more new users than we saw the year prior. Program attendance increased dramatically, with more people of all ages participating in everything from story times and adult classes to community events and senior programs at our Civic Center than ever before. Our talented library staff and art instructors provided an amazing 1,191 programs last year. And those events drew a total of 47,549 patrons, which is an incredible 8,000 more than last year's figures and more than double what we saw in 2022. Digital checkouts and online engagement continued to climb as patrons turned to us not just for physical materials, but also for access to digital resources and programming. 202,873 digital books, audiobooks, magazines, music, and videos were accessed by North Canton Public Library patrons in 2025. For comparison, the North Canton Public Library patrons checked out about 108,000 digital items as recently as 2021. So it's illustrating just how rapidly we're seeing that growth of over 100,000 in just a couple of years. The circulation of physical materials fell a bit from last year's figures. Patrons checked out 571,599 tangible items like books, DVDs, and CDs. And that, for as great of a number as that is, that does represent a drop of about 30,000 items from the year prior. This drop is not surprising to us, and it reflects a broader shift in how people are using libraries today. While fewer items are being checked out in physical form, the overall engagement with the library remains really strong. Patrons are still turning to us, just in different ways, and that understanding is helping guide our service decisions and our renovation planning, which I'll be talking about a little bit later at the end. We also saw ongoing strong demand for meeting rooms and collaborative spaces. And our facility continues to be used regularly by community groups and individuals. The people are still visiting us in person, even if their needs are evolving. Our meeting spaces were booked 526 times by members of the public last year. And when you consider that our staff are putting on over 1,000 programs in some of those same spaces, there tends to be a little competition between the two groups. I also want to highlight that our library staff processed 792 passports last year, which allowed the library to bring in over $36,000 of additional revenue to our operating budget. The steady revenue was especially helpful last year as we navigated a period of budget uncertainty in the spring when the biennium budget from the state was finalized. We also have a page in our annual report that shows what our patrons are checking out the most. This is, I think, on the second page, with materials and programs. These are always fun to look through because there's always little surprises embedded in the data. It's no surprise that Frida McFadden's The Housemaid and Dave Pilkey's latest Frogman installment and Suzanne Collins' The Hunger Games topped the charts for what our patrons were reading last year. But a postage stamp catalog was also unexpectedly popular. It was checked out 65 times, and I don't know if that was by the same person over and over again or not, but it made it on our list. As far as programs go in our children's department, the biggest draws were for Bluey and Santa, of course, and our older adults loved their Tai Chi classes at the Civic Center, and programs about UFOs the most, so interesting. Our annual report also provides a look back on some of the noteworthy goals that we achieved as a team. I think this is on the last page. So just a quick rundown. In 2025, we added the New York Times database to our list of free online resources. So now patrons can have the ability to freely access articles from as far back as 1851. We partnered with the American Heart Association and launched the installation of stationary blood pressure hubs at both the North Canton Civic Center and within the library building. We resurrected a regular weekly and monthly programming for teens through a newly developed teen hangout series. We're getting about 20 to 25 teens on average per program for that, which is a very difficult age to get into the library, so we're thrilled about that. We added memory care kits to our collection for checkout so that individuals living with Alzheimer's and dementia, as well as their caregivers, would have access to more life-enhancing resources. We unveiled the library's new dynamic website created with the help of North Canton's own sanctuary marketing right down the street and the input of many staff members. We selected an architecture firm by the name of SHP for our upcoming renovation project. And we worked with them all year long last year to conduct user experience studies, space studies of the building, and detailed research on our collections. We constructed and installed a new digital sign facing Main Street to help improve the visibility of library programs and services. We launched a new product called Stack Map that lives within our online catalog and helps users in the building easily pinpoint exactly where their item of interest is located. And lastly, we installed new communication boards at each of our service desks to allow non-speaking patrons the ability to relay questions and ideas to staff with ease and confidence. So of course, a successful year like that always brings new questions as we look ahead, and especially as we have a renovation on the table. When demand for programs expands, how do we create spaces that can support more activities at once? When meeting rooms are booked solid, how do we ensure community groups have places to collaborate? And when physical visits remain high, while digital access grows, how do we balance both realities in our facility? That leads me to the next part of our story tonight, and I'm almost done, I promise, our upcoming building renovation. Like I said before, we're currently working with our architectural team at SHP to reimagine how our building can better serve our community now and into the future. The library has saved and secured funding for 90% of the renovation's costs. with the remaining portion to be privately financed. No additional support from taxpayers is planned, and the project reflects over 5 years of careful preparation and responsible fiscal stewardship. This renovation will do more than provide cosmetic updates to a space that hasn't been refreshed in almost 20 years. It will also respond directly to what our community is telling us through their use of the library. So in this renovation, we'll be creating more flexible program space so that we can support larger and more diverse offerings simultaneously. Fighting among staff and community members for program rooms. We'll be expanding and improving meeting rooms and collaborative areas so that local organizations, small groups, and community members have the spaces they need. And we'll be rethinking our public areas so that the library continues to be welcoming, accessible, and future ready, whether patrons are checking out a book, attending a class, or using digital resources. Behind the scenes, SHP and our team are turning data, user feedback, and library usage trends into tangible design concepts. And we expect to have renderings available in the spring and to start construction in August. So the library's growth is a reflection of North Canton's energy, curiosity, and commitment to lifelong learning. I'm so grateful to our staff, to our board, to our patrons, and of course to our partners on City Council for supporting a vision of the library that embraces that growth and community impact. So thank you for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, the library is a vital part of our community. Thank you. Okay, we do not have anyone signed up for public speaks for the first half. Let's move on to old business. Liam, will you please read the title of Resolution 05-2026?
A resolution to renew the depository agreement with Huntington National Bank as the primary depository for active, interim, and inactive deposits of city funds for a period of 5 years, beginning March 1st, 2026, and ending February 28th, 2031.
Anything from finance? Police or anything?
No, I'm not aware of any changes. We talked about this, I don't want to say at length because there was not much to talk about, but we did talk about it 2 weeks ago and nothing has changed.
Good. I get a motion to adopt the second reading of Resolution 05-2026.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. And I'll move on to the recognition of the public for topics under city authority. Liam, will you please read the preamble?
At this time, members of the public who have signed up to address City Council will be called to do so. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes. Speakers shall be called in the order they signed up. During this section, comments shall be limited to items reasonably under the city's authority. The rules for speaking and the speaker's time will appear on the screen. After you have finished speaking, please remain at the podium to answer questions from the officials of the dais.
Thank you. Mr. Patterson, the podium is yours. You'll start with your name and your address.
Hey, everybody. Pat Patterson, 1754. Really briefly, we're gonna start the community walks up again in the spring. I know we got a foot of snow and everywhere, and kind of hard to think about spring right now, but I've just been dreaming of the daffodils and keeping my hopes up. So the 29th of March, 8 a.m. on Portico City Hall. Those who will get together and we'll go wander the wilds at the first ward. How about that? Other than that, that's really all I have. My first opportunity to wish everybody corporately a happy new year, even though we're 40 days in. And that's what I have. I'm ready to be grilled.
They got 40 days in spring.
Any questions for Mr. Patterson?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we've moved through the majority of this meeting quickly. Off to department reports, Mayor Stroya.
All right, that was fast. I want to thank the library. It is amazing every time that they come and do the annual report, the numbers, but all the different services that they offer and what they do for the city and the community. It's unmatched, and we're very lucky to have them. And all the people there are fantastic as well. So the weather has been brutal. I know local businesses are struggling, so if you can support a local business, it'd be great. And that's all I've got.
Director of Administration, Ms. Verena.
No report.
Thank you. Mr. Segedy.
I just wanted to say briefly, I wanted to thank the library for coming in and, I have a soft spot for libraries. My mom was a librarian early in her adult life and, in my experience in the time I've been in North Canton, they've been a great asset to the community. Helped me get my, passport photo for my new passport. And, when we think about Main Street and development along Main Street and community assets, they're top of mind. So just wanted to thank Andrea and her team for everything that they do.
Director of Law, Mr. Hyde.
Nothing for me.
Thank you. Finance, Ms. Allen.
I have no report. I'm one of your 3,000 some new cardholders. So convenient,
Perfect. All right, Council Clerk, Mr. Hyde.
Just once again, would like to say I'm still looking for a spring intern. If you'd like to get your foot in the door as a college sophomore, junior, senior, looking to get in public policy, I've been told I'm a great boss to work for, so come join me for the spring.
Excellent, thank you. We'll start off with the ward reports. Mr. McLeister.
Okay. I want to thank Andrea for all the information about the library. It's great to see, well, certainly numerically see what all it is you guys do in the community. So it's pretty impressive. So thank you. Also wanted to give a shout out. Now, this was not this past weekend, but 2 weekends ago, Chamber of Commerce had an absolutely fantastic event. I don't know, did anybody go to the Pizza Palooza? I mean, because I am like a completely, well, yeah, I think I saw Holly there. Somebody else, but what a absolutely fantastic event. I am definitely a pizza addict, and so that definitely was an event that was right up my alley. So kudos to them for a job well done. And that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Wyman.
I guess I'll just mention, I missed the Pizza Palooza, unfortunately this year, but I did go last year and I agree, fantastic event. But I missed it this year because I was at the Ohio Parks and Recreation Association conference in Sandusky last week with Catherine and with Steve Shank from Parks and Facilities. And I attended some really great sessions, so I just wanted to share a little bit about that. I attended a session on legislative changes that will be impacting funding municipalities, or at least could be, and parks and recreation funding. Cost recovery and recreation programming. That's something that, we're looking at with this parks master plan is, do we bring back recreation? And if so, how do we make sure that that is bringing in enough funding to cover the cost of it? Embracing leadership challenges, which was just a multiple hour session that was full of really great information. And another highlight was aquatics facility assessments, where I learned a lot about, we've had some assessments done of our pool, obviously, but learned a lot about what they're looking for and what all of these things really mean, and some other questions that maybe we should be asking. So I was grateful for the opportunity to go and learn. It was a fantastic, it's always a fantastic event when I go, and there's always an awards ceremony, obviously, which we have won before. And so just seeing the projects that other communities are doing is really inspiring as well. That's all.
Appreciate you attending, and I can't imagine anybody else being passionate about parks, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Mr. Orr.
All right, Andrea, thank you for coming. I also, like Jason, have a soft spot. My wife was a librarian at the middle school for many years. And I'd like to say thanks for the street department. They've done wonders. It's really a great service we provide there. I drove around my ward today and kind of disappointed in the residents of Ward 4. The sidewalks don't exist. We don't have many, but the ones who do, they should be out there shoveling. And then I also drove down from on Main Street from City Hall this way down south, and boy, the businesses on Main Street don't really plow their sidewalks either. So I'd like to support some of these businesses on Main Street. Some of them you can't get to, they go from the entrance, but hopefully with the weather coming, it's supposed to be 50 degrees tomorrow. So, some meltdown, hopefully not too quick of a meltdown, so we don't have any flooding issues. But, that's my report tonight.
Thank you. Ms. McFont.
Thanks to everyone that came out tonight. It's always nice to see so many faces here, new ones. Thank you, Reverend Jackson, for your uplifting prayer. And thank you, Pat, for your remarks as always, kicking off your walks again. Thank you, Andrea, for coming, but the library, my college kid did one of these 792 passports that you process. And it was like in record speed. He came home and talked about, what a great experience it was. I think for like a 20-year-old kid to even comment like that speaks volumes. And so that's a great program there. And I think the meeting spaces you guys offer are huge because we don't have a lot of meeting space in this town in general. And what we have had, we've lost a lot of, right? So I think that that's great. And I look forward to your building improvements. The chamber did do an excellent job with the slice of palooza. Is that how you say it? Okay. They took to heart, I think, a lot of feedback from last year's first event. It was even better, if that's imaginable, this year. I don't know if they pull in statistics, but there were so many people not from North Canton there. I saw a lot of like people in Massillon, Schertz, or other areas and things like that. And so I think it's encouraging to see so many people come into our community for an event like that. And then so many business people in North Canton volunteering. The amount of volunteers at that event is crazy. So excellent event. Chamber does a great job with it. I want to thank them as well. That's my report.
Thank you. Mr. Pratt.
Thanks. Just follow up with, thanks for the prayer, thanks for speaking, and, thanks to the library. My kids, 12 and 13, and they're library obsessed, so I know that, they rely on, going there as much as they do, so that's been further.
Thank you. Mr. Soccer.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Appreciate you speaking. Much like everybody else, the library has a bit of a soft spot for me as well. The last several years of my father's life, he led kind of an isolated life, but the library was a refuge for him. And so I appreciate everything that you guys did and do for everybody. I wanted to talk a bit about our water department tonight. When Holly and I went through the Civic Leadership Academy, we were told we needed to ask our council member, who is and was Mr. Matheny, what he felt was our most important city asset. And he did not hesitate. He said the water. And I come to agree with that. So the North Canton City water system originated in 1912 with the drilling of the well at 9th and Orchard Northeast. And that was a 50,000 gallon elevated well. The 10-year period after that was right after World War I. The village experienced tremendous growth, as we can imagine. A second well was drilled on East Maple Street in 1928. The next 70 years, North Canton has gone on to add 5 more wells, made many additions and improvements to the water system itself. Some of the most notable, in 1938, I think we're all familiar with our current water department area on Freedom. That land was purchased in 1938 and since been occupied with 2 wells, the North Canton Drinking Water Treatment Plant and the service garage. First Freedom well, Avenue well was drilled in 38, the second one in 1940. And then in 1956, there was a Glenwood Avenue well site that was purchased and was drilled at that time. The decades of the 60s and 80s were of tremendous growth. In the 60s, the city added a new $4 million, 4 million gallon per day capacity and a 6 million gallon nominal capacity water softening plant. In 1963, the North Canton water system became interconnected with the city of Canton in an emergency intersupply between the 2 cities. In the 80s, North Canton growth continued. 5th well was drilled at the Dressler well field, and a second tower with capacity of 1.5 gallons was added. There were countless miles of new water main lines installed during that
In more recent times, since the nineties, the city has concentrated more on quality as compared to quantity. In 1990, an interceptor well was installed just north of the Freedom Well Field. In 2021, the city took proactive measures to protect our underground groundwater. There were some additional measures taken also in the following year. And then moving to more of today's time, there was a $1.7 million federal grant. The city began the Arrowhead drilling, and that is going to be providing large quantity of drinking water, safe as well. So we're just looking forward to that. Just lastly, thank you to the city water department, its leaders, and all of the folks. We witnessed an amazing amount of collaboration with our streets. And I think we talked about this last council that, as soon as they got everything cleared, the water main started breaking. And unfortunately, with this freeze and thaw and freeze, we're probably going to have more issues. But our water department is pretty amazing, and we have an amazing asset here with our system. And like I say, water has been in the news quite a bit here locally. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, and thank our water leadership. Thank you.
While we were talking about water, Catherine, is there anything North Canton can do as a city with what's happening over in Perry? Because I think that could be an opportunity to get some more business. And from what I've heard, they're not gonna cut it off completely, but if you sell your house, then they cut it, and people have to find their own water. So I don't know, is there anything we could?
You can look into it.
Okay, thanks, because I've seen that and it's hit the papers and stuff, so, but thank you.
I could be wrong, but I don't know that our lines go beyond Golden Village.
Really?
Yeah, I don't believe so. Could be wrong.
Obviously, water is an asset, and we're all thankful that we have control over that. Appreciate everyone coming out today. Being involved in your community is extremely important. And even though the agenda was short today, it doesn't mean that things are not happening. I know that administration, the mayor, there's so much going on within the city. Between that and our first responders, very busy. It may not show up in tonight's agenda, but believe me, your city is hard at work. And we do have an excellent staff of employees committed to making life in North Canton better. So that is my report. Final call for new business. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to make a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussion with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending court actions as permitted by ORC 121.22 G3. I get a second.
Second.
Mr. Ott, will you call roll call?
Member Pierpont,
Yes.
Member Orr,
Yes.
Member Wyrick,
Yes.
Member Matheny,
Yes.
Member McLeaster,
Yes.
Member Pratt,
Yes.
Member Stocker.
Yes.
7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. At this time, council is in executive session. Let the record reflect, council will be joined by the Directors of Administration, the Director of Finance, the Director of Law, and the Clerk of Council, and our mayor. motion to adjourn executive session. Can I get a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Let the record reflect no action was taken. Moving on to the meeting calendar, no meeting on Monday. So our next meeting will be February 23rd, and it will be a council meeting. At this time, it's only going to be the third reading of what we covered today, so. Any other questions? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.